Kind of a gloomy morning out here in Laguna Beach. Doesn't change the fact that this is a beautiful beach. Cliffs here, beaches, even the palm trees. Oh, and look at that. There's a century plant that's bloomed over there. So this is one of those things that you don't really see too often, so I think it's cool when you do. But these are agave americana. These little things that have these shoots that come out and these little flowers next to these palm trees. Also known as the century plant, which is kind of a myth because it only takes about 20 to 30 years. But these plants will only bloom once in their lifetime. And after they bloom, these giant stalks of flowers, they die. So this is what the plant will normally look like when it's not blooming. The myth is it blooms once every 100 years, but it's actually closer to like 20 or 30 years. But once it blooms, the plant completely dies and leaves a bunch of clones of itself at its base. But since it only happens every 20 to 30 years, I think it's pretty cool to see. I don't really know if it's that rare or that cool, but I think it is because of how infrequently it happens. Anyways, I just thought it was cool. Saw them when I was walking down here to check out the beach next to our little stealth camping spot last night. I had to pay the meter this morning because parking was free from like 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. today. It is currently 8:34, so I just had to pay the meter for like the 2 hours that I'm gonna be here trying to wait out LA traffic because I'm heading up through LA today. So taking kind of a slow morning here. It's kind of cool having the fog. The water also looks crazy blue, but it's kind of cool having the fog where you can't see off in the horizon. It makes it look like it's like an endless expanse or like it drops off or something. And this is a place that if you've watched my channel, you know I have been at before, here on the cliffs in Laguna Beach. Probably one of my favorite spots to camp whenever I'm in Southern California, just because it's so easy, it's so nice. Waking up to a view of the ocean like that at a nice community park. But it's one of those spots where I kind of only like to stay. I left the keys in the van. One night at a time, because I'm right in front of people's houses and it just feels kind of rude to camp out in front of people's houses for an extended period of time. So tonight will be the only night that we're staying here. We're leaving today in 2 hours. It's honestly already too hot in that hoodie. I feel like the window for wearing hoodies at the beach in the summer is very small, which means it's already hot out. Sun's already out. It's getting too hot for a hoodie. But also, that means I'm getting hungry. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I did do a very deep cleaning of the van. Cleaned all the cushions, everything. A lot of you will be happy that my stove is now spotless. Cleaned out the entire back, took down the mesh netting. I don't know if you guys remember I had mesh netting back there. Took that down because it was all dusty and old. But that meant cleaning out my pantry, which is now empty. And I think the only thing I have in my fridge is some eggs, so we're gonna take advantage of it while we're in town. Go get some breakfast. So I think we're kind of close to downtown Laguna over here. It might be a little farther than I think, but should be right up over here down the hill. Also, I don't know if you guys remember on my road trip in the mini truck, which you haven't go watch, you can watch that here. But I basically built out a mini truck to be a camper, and it was the size of a golf cart. And this specific spot is golf cart parking only. You see by that sign. But I had my mini truck here, and it's honestly genuinely smaller than a golf cart. And some lady came up to me and was yelling at me that I needed to move it because I wasn't a golf cart, which obviously I'm not. But the whole reason they have that sign is for the size of the vehicle, not necessarily that it is a golf cart. Anyway, she started yelling at me, told me I needed to move. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not moving. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna call the cops. So I said, okay, call them. And then she just didn't do anything about it, so I was fine. Never saw her again after that. All right, so as I'm walking down to the beach, I'm looking over here and I see another century plant that has bloomed, and it sent me down a deep Reddit hole trying to figure out why they're all blooming at the same time, because this is not the first or the second. This is like the 10th one that I've seen this year, and I've only seen them this year. And apparently the only consensus is that we don't have a full understanding of how they do it, but the plants are effectively communicating with each other. They bloom together for maximum pollination. Some people think it's the weather, some people think it's just perfect conditions, but it's just crazy. But you can see, like, those are the ones that haven't bloomed yet. That one's bloomed and the bottom is dying. Groovy music. Alright, this one looks like a good enough restaurant. Greeter's Corner. So the sun is just starting to burn through that marine layer of clouds and shine through. So we're getting some blue skies now. But I think it's time to leave our campsite. I'm pretty sure our parking has run out. And there's one more thing that I want to go check out before we leave and head north through LA today. And that is supposedly 10 minutes down the beach that way, there's an old pirate tower on these cliffs. And I've been here probably 10 or 15 times over the years, and I've never stopped to see it. So we're gonna stop by there real quick before we head out, see if we can see it. I think you can only access it at low tide. Tide is falling now, it's not low tide, so we'll see. Let's go see if we can find us a pirate tower. It's beautiful down here, a lot of nice houses. Sometimes I wonder what it's like to be this rich. So it's supposed to be just down this random private access, or public access, next to all these multi-million-dollar beach homes. So we'll see what it is when we get down there. So it should be down here and to the right. I'm hoping the tide is low enough because you have to climb over some rocks to the right to get to it. It's a nice little beach though. Look at those houses. Imagine, right on the beach. Let's see if we can get there. I don't know what it is, but this water is so blue. It feels like I'm in the tropics. There it is. Pirate Tower. Also, I can't get over how nice some of these houses are. This house is gigantic. Has its own private little beach hangout area and a bunch of little terraces. It's like a compound. But this is, I think some old ocean pool. I guess maybe for the homeowner to swim in. I'm not really sure, honestly. It is nice, though. Calm. Sit out here and enjoy the waves. That's a cool looking shot. But there is the Pirate Tower. So I guess a not so fun fact about this tower is that it's not actually a pirate tower, unfortunately. As much as I'd want it to be. It was built for California Senator William E. Brown back in 1926, just as a private staircase from his house down to the beach. And I can definitely see how the tide would keep you back from visiting this place. It's really rocky, even now, as the tide's falling, the waves are coming up pretty high. But he built the staircase after he visited France after World War II, and it was inspired by the French castles that he saw when he was there. And then it kind of gets his lore as a pirate tower from when it was sold in the 1940s. And it's still private property, so you can't go up in it or anything, but it was sold in the 1940s to another guy named Harold Kendrick, who was a retired naval captain, and he used to have events at the Pirate Tower where he would dress up as a pirate and organize local treasure hunts for the kids in the area. And he would hide coins like up in the cracks of the tower and stuff and whatnot, so it kind of got its legend from there. But anyways, it's time to get back to the van. No beach showers to rinse your feet? No problem. All right. It's time to hit the road. Parking is paid for. We have made it to Venice Beach. First time I've been here in probably 2.5 years. I try to stay out of LA. Not my cup of tea, but I figured we were driving through, so I might as well stop. I do like Venice. Go see the canals, which if you didn't know, back in 1905, they tried to create a little Italy in California, right here at Venice Beach, where they built all these massive canals, and then houses next to them had gondolas, gondoliers that they imported from Italy, brought them over here. Ultimately, the project fails, but we're like a 10-minute walk away, so we'll go check them out. And then we're going to get a workout in at the famous Muscle Beach. And there she is in all her glory. Canal streets, just like here in Venice, Italy. Kind of. Water's not as clear. I don't know if it's clear in Venice, but there's only a few of these canals left. This being the first one. I think there's 6 total, and they kind of wrap around and all connect. So these canals were built in 1905 by this guy named Abbot Kinney,
And initially it was because he bought a bunch of swampland just south of Santa Monica that was essentially useless and no one wanted to build on it. So he built these canals initially to drain all of the swamps and the marshes in the area to make it more livable, and then just decided to kind of lean into the idea of bringing Venice to America. And he went all in. Like I said, he had bridges, gondolas imported from Italy, even had gondoliers, the people who drive the gondolas, imported from Italy. And his vision slowly kind of became a reality. But in the end, it didn't turn out how he wanted. It kind of failed after about 15 years when cars kind of took over the city and people were getting upset about the slow, always flooding, impassable roads. So they paved over most of the canals. And then from the 30s pretty much up until the 80s, the remaining 6 canals were kind of left neglected in a state of disrepair. And it even got to a point where people called this area kind of the slums by the sea, which is kind of interesting now that there's all these $1 million houses. But then in the 90s, they kind of came back in, fixed up the area, fixed up the canals, built $1 million houses, and now this area is one of the most expensive places in Venice, and it's still connected by the same bridges from 100 years ago. And I honestly think it's pretty interesting because you don't really see stuff like this anymore. Everyone wants the cheapest, most boilerplate option. Like if you look at apartment complexes, they're all gray, millennial gray is taking over. There's no real character to anything anymore. So it's interesting to see what people can do when they have a vision, even though it failed. Ended up kind of good at the end. It's also cool how each one of these houses has their own little like floating barge. This is one of the nicer ones that I've seen. Looks like a setup of seats and a little table on just a bunch of barrels. Each house has like their own version, or they have little dinghies, because this is like maybe 4 feet deep. There's some fish out there, but still pretty cool. We've made it to the wonderful Venice Beach, which honestly every time I come here it reminds me more and more of like a Middle Eastern bazaar with just cheap trinkets for sale at every single store and every single corner. And there it is, Muscle Beach. It's pretty cool to be able to work out here. This place was kind of the birthplace of bodybuilding. Well, technically in the 1930s in Santa Monica, but kind of moved here to Venice in the 60s. Arnold Schwarzenegger and a lot of the other old legends used to train here, and it kind of became like a performance gym where people would come and lift just out of this world weights that I could probably only dream of lifting. And it's really cool to even be here and be able to work out in a place where all of that history has happened. And I don't know if you guys can tell or see all the broken equipment, but today it's more of kind of a landmark than it is a real serious gym. Just a cool place to say that you lifted at least once in your life, but I can't imagine being a member here. How's it going? Do you guys do like a burrito bowl?
Would you like a bag?
It's okay, thank you. See what it looks like. Oh, look at that. That looks delicious. Looks so good. Oh, that's really good. Oh, it's nice. Rick. All right. So as much as it's nice to be in the city and kind of surrounded by a bunch of stuff, just increases the risk, especially being in LA. So while I could camp here tonight, right on any of these side streets, which I've done before, I think it's hot in here. I'm gonna drive down the road about an hour and a half to another one of my favorite beaches to stay at in California, and stay there because I know they have showers and it's easy to find parking. So we're gonna head there, get a shower, and get set up to stealth camp in a small beach town. All right, we made it to our campsite for the night. So before we do anything else, I need to take a shower. I feel super sweaty after working out and hanging out outside all day. So I'm gonna pack a bag, and there's a campsite next to us that I think, as long as nothing has changed since I was last here, has tokens that you can buy and take nice hot showers. So that's what we're gonna do. Well, Also on the way here, I did stop by the grocery store and pick up some stuff for dinner and breakfast tomorrow. And it took me a little longer to get here than I thought it was going to because LA traffic. I sat in traffic for like an hour and a half. Should have taken me an hour. It took me like 2.5 hours, but that's our spot for the night right there on the side of the road. And we are kind of like right up here next to the beach. Showers are over there in that campsite. But yeah, it is a pretty stellar spot for camping. It's maybe a block and a half walk to the beach. And this is probably one of my more favorite beaches in California. It's just so open. Nothing but sand and water. Down there's some tar pits. And one time I was here, I saw a dead seal. But yeah, not bad. See the van right there. But anyways, let's go take a shower. I think one token is 8 minutes or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, see you guys on the other side. And we're back. And cleaner than ever. Pretty nice sunset tonight. Got the mountains looking nice. But I am honestly pretty hungry. That lunch that we had was not very filling. It was delicious. If you ever go to Venice Beach, you should definitely try it. It was really good, but I'm definitely a little bit hungry, so I got some stuff. We're gonna make some dinner, and I think I'm gonna stay here in this spot for a day or two. It's just, you cannot beat this spot. I have not found a spot better than this. I'm sure there is, if you look hard enough, but it comes with living in a van for as long as you have. You find your spots that you like, and you kind of gravitate back to them. All right, dinner time. So, for dinner tonight, we're making a super simple shrimp broccoli stir fry thing. So, get all these groceries put away, at least the stuff that I don't need, and then we're cooking. First things first, get everything prepped up. Not much prep's going into this dish, keeping it super simple. I'm gonna thaw out this shrimp as much as I can. The best way to do it is if you're in a house, just let it sit under running cool water. But I am not in the house. I'm just going to let them sit in water. Expedite the thawing process a little bit. Got some chicken sausage. And I'm just going to chop these up into little chicken sausage discs. And that, my friends, is pretty much all we need to do for prep work. Nice. So while we wait for those shrimp to thaw out, I'm going to get started on cooking these sausages, because they're going to take a little bit longer than the shrimp is anyways. This part is super simple. Just a little bit of oil in the pan, let that get nice and hot, and we're throwing those bad boys in there. In they go. While those are cooking and we're waiting for our shrimp to finish thawing, I'm going to get working on this. Wait for the motorcycle to pass. I'm going to get working on the sauce that we're going to be coating this stir fry in. You only need a few things, starting with some honey. Seems about right. Equal parts honey and soy sauce. It's just about the same amount. Some minced garlic. And the recipe calls for lemon juice, which I forgot to get, so we're just going to use lemon pepper as the closest alternative. I don't know if that's going to work. I'm hoping it'll add a little bit of lemon zestiness to the sauce, I guess. I don't know. And that is pretty much it for the sauce. Now that these are done, we can take the sausages out of the pan, set them aside. Also, in case you were wondering, I got new bowls and plates. They're yellow. I don't know if I like them yet, but we'll see. This is the first time I've used them, actually, since I got them. But now we can just throw the shrimp into the same pan that those sausages were cooked in. Turn the fire back up a little bit. Hit those bad boys with a little bit of salt. I'm using this fancy truffle salt that I got the other day. Some fresh cracked black pepper. Get those coated nice and evenly. And we'll just let this cook up. Alright. Those are nice and cooked. Take those, set those aside. And the final thing we gotta cook is our broccoli. Take that, take a little more oil, splash that in the pan. Throw our broccoli in. And we'll let those cook off for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're pretty much done. Just combine everything. We're good to go. And that's pretty much it. I'll let the broccoli steam a little bit. Put the lid on it. Those should be nice and cooked up. I also put some easy minute rice on the back just to serve as like a little side with the dish. So now we can add our sausage and shrimp back into the broccoli. Pour it over our soy, honey, garlic sauce concoction that we made up. Get that stirred in there nicely, nice and coated on everything. And then we'll let that cook down for about another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're eating. All right, that looks like it's just about done. Let's get her plated up, starting with the rice going in the bottom, and then a hefty scoop of our sausage and shrimp going on top. And that, my friends, is our finished dish. Nice, quick, easy stir fry. Now, if we're looking outside, we do got a little bit of sun left, so I might go sit down by the beach to eat dinner tonight. A nice cotton candy sky going tonight. Oh, you can't beat it. Can't beat it. Look at the mountains. Wow. Mountains look crazy silhouetted against the sunset. It is starting to get a little chilly out here though, so I'm gonna eat pretty fast, but look at that. Wonderful looking dinner. Cheers. Ooh. Oh my God. That is fantastic. Sometimes I just wish you guys were here to taste things with me, because you're not gonna believe like how good this is just on me saying it. It's like perfectly sweet, a little bit of spicy because I threw some red pepper flakes in there, and also I tossed in like a tablespoon of hoisin at the end, and I think that just topped it off and made this absolutely perfect. This is fantastic. What a night. Can't beat it. Also, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see on the camera, but those bright lights out there in the distance, those are oil rigs. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I can see. Pretty nifty. I'm glad I picked a quick meal tonight so that I could get out and enjoy the sunset while I ate it. Well, I guess like left of it. This is still nice, but it's definitely the tail end of the sunset. The mountains are looking crazy. Moon, full moon tonight, but we got our free campsite for the night, which is also stellar. Wake up tomorrow, head into town and grab some coffee. Take advantage of being so close to everything. And I think I might take a day off and just kind of hang out at the beach tomorrow. Maybe go swimming. Ride a surfboard, I don't know. Came back in the van through the front doors. There's people sitting on their balcony right by where I opened the side door and they saw me get out. I just don't like drawing any unnecessary attention, so. And then I'm getting ready for bed, so I will see you guys in the morning. So when I woke up this morning, I thought that there was a leak in the van. So I looked down here and I saw a bunch of water droplets on the floor, but it's just from condensation. I don't know if you can see all the little water droplets on the fan up here. Don't mind how dirty it is, because last night I had this fan pulling out air. So this fan's pulling out and this one's just open and off, so it's pulling air in. And as you can tell by how foggy it is outside with that marine layer coming in off the ocean, it's just like there's a lot of moisture in the air that gets trapped up in that fan for some reason. It doesn't happen very often, just when it's like super humid or I'm up in the clouds or something. But yeah, as expected, wonderful night's sleep. Other than my neck kind of hurting because we're at kind of slight tilt that way, but not too bad.
you go. Breakfast is served. Oh wow, it is super foggy today. Nice little boardwalk here. Take a little morning stroll. I'm gonna finish my morning energy drink. Shout out to BEM Energy for sending me a bunch of these. They just showed up at my door one day. I think that is it for this video. Probably hang out at the beach for a day or two. Relax, figure out where I'm going next. Maybe up in the mountains. I think I might go to Sierra Nevadas, over to Sequoia. And some other places, get out of the heat, get away from the beach a little bit, get back into nature. So, as always, I truly appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, think about clicking that subscribe button. Really does help out the channel. And I will catch you guys next time.